this is really a conversation about technology, consumer adoption, change, evolution, and how all of us are coming together to be able to reinvent ourselves. I brought some of our brightest geniuses out of their coding shell. They get to get away from the matrix and see real people for a little while.
I think we are maybe 12 months away from shape-shifting websites based on the agent or user intent.
Consumers don't use AI the same way they use Google.
If you don't have it, AI agent will go to your competitor who has it 2 a.m. in the morning, and then even without calling you, texting you, chatting you, clicking your site, nothing, they go back to the homeowner. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, it's Alexa Plus, and they say, hey, I found you a contractor who can come in 30 minutes. Would you like me to book your appointment? Boom. And you're out of business.
There is going to be a new generation of technology providers. There is going to be a new generation of marketing agencies. There's going to be a new generation of home service companies. And you're on one side of the fence or not.
If you don't think that AI is giving you the correct response, then it's not the AI that's the problem. It's the inputs, which that comes from the user.
In a nutshell, change is the name of the game. Lean in, go all in. You can't lose. So the only place that I would be nervous would be sitting on the fence. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the Boardroom conversation today. I'm Jennifer Bagley, your host. And today I am very excited because we let all of the nerds out of the nerdery. I'm just kidding. Kind of. Not really. So you guys, this one, I'm going to apologize in advance because this is going to be one of those, we warned you before if you've attended the Boardroom conversations. This is not the easiest conversation out of all of our podcasts and trainings and webinars and live sessions that we have. There are much easier versions to attend if you go to Catalyst for the Trades. That is about success stories, the catalysts that have helped companies and business owners grow their business. If you're in Just Start AI, which we have a lot of our Just Start AI guests that are joining with us today, that's going to be more tactical training. This is not. So this is really a conversation about technology, consumer adoption, change, evolution, and how all of us are coming together to be able to reinvent ourselves, the way we function, the way we operate in order to keep up with technology, in order to be able to predict how technology is changing consumer behavior. And this is the crew you need at your table to try and solve those problems. So I brought some of our brightest geniuses out of their coding shell. They get to get away from the matrix and see real people for a little while. You guys, welcome. Happy to have you. All right, so we're going to start off with some introductions for all of our guests. Feel free to use the comments at any point in time. I know we've got some special guests. I saw Darren Dixon join live, which I'm very excited about. But before we get started, let's do some quick introductions. Dave, I will start with you.
Hey, I'm Dave. I am the hi guys. I'm Dave Kanar. I am the CEO and co-founder of OnePath. I've been working in home services AI for a little over like 6 years since the time that we got accepted to UC Berkeley's Skydeck accelerator program with my former company, which was named Buck AI. And before that, I had my company for a little over like a decade or so, been software for close to like 20 years, and been building websites, web applications, then mobile applications, then AI applications, then high-end algorithms, then combining all of them, and now finally building AI agents in this phase of my career. Pleasure to meet you all.
Fantastic. I love it. Chris? Your audio's not working. Leave it to the tech guys. Okay, Braden.
Hey, I'm Braden. I've been working with websites from since I was, I want to say 15. Well, I've been around it my whole life. But I finally got into actually doing it myself around the age of 15. Started off in, of course, WordPress, where we all were at that time. And since then, I've upgraded, and now I'm making most of our MCP connections here at CI Web Group to connect all of our most favorite tools and analytical platforms into our own LLMs to use to our benefit. So it's nice to meet you, everyone.
Braden is my cousin, and Braden, last I remember when he was like 15 years old, he already started a business, built his own website, and was selling online before he left high school.
Yes, that's actually what got me into this. My first business was cleaning shoes, and I started my first I started with a website, and then I started to do my own local marketing on Google. I was like, wait, this is easy. I can do this for other people, and that's actually how I started to get into it. And it was a great journey.
I love it. I've loved watching you go. All right, Chris, let's test your audio.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So Soldier, been coding since I was 14 years old. Co-founded CI Web Group with Jennifer Bagley since had patents in artificial intelligence and computer vision since before it was a buzzword. It's been a pleasure to be with CI Web Group and throughout all the growth and everything else. That's all I have.
Awesome. I think we lost Jen-ish. Jen, are you here? Nope, I guess not. So why don't we continue?
Well, I'd say that, I started writing HTML at the same time you probably did in the early, in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever use GeoCities or AngelFire?
Oh, yeah. You remember that too? Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been, I've been doing it since probably assembly language, reverse engineering, TI 86, TI 89 calculators. So, it's started way before my time.
Awesome.
Chris, did you tell him about the garbage can?
No. One of my patents is
one of the first AI projects.
Yeah, it was actually. I had one for obituaries with natural language processing (NLP), which was a lot harder back in that day because you had to understand, details about, how NER named entity recognition worked and all of these other components. So. I had one with identifying people that are connected to obituaries in a graph, and then another one in a graph database, and the computer vision library with a YOLO algorithm, stands for you only look once, to identify and sort different types of garbage. It's being licensed right now to Smart Sort AI, to give free garbage cans to facilities like stadiums. It's being picked up by women's NBA, and it's taken off pretty well. And it guarantees contamination ratios with our recyclables. At the time, China, when I built it, China had stopped taking our garbage because the contamination ratio was too high. So it wasn't worth anything because it wasn't properly separated, and we realized that was a job that needed to bubble up to the consumer's responsibility to just not throw it wherever they could. So anyways, that was one of my philanthropy projects. But yeah,
you're talking to a real nerd when on a side project in your garage you build an AI enabled trash can.
Exactly.
It was made out of cardboard at first. And an Arduino board and a Raspberry Pi. That was the first version.
Side
And a
note
good
on Chris
example
as
of
well.
edge AI working on the edge with very low resources.
Yep. Side note on Chris as well. He's also my cousin, and my father and Chris are like twins. My dad and Chris, my dad was a developer, and these two blew my mind on a regular basis. Our house looked like the Matrix when they were in there. All right, Max.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maximilian Heth. I'm resident sysadmin here at CI Web Group, and I've been involved in. I worked as an independent contractor for several years before joining CI Web Group. And I started off when, roughly about 15 years ago, just working on. The funny part is, the funny part about how I started my journey as an app developer was that I used to build WordPress websites using page builders and stuff. And I was completely in that space until I realized, well, this isn't exactly the most efficient way to, or productive way to actually build a website, let alone a WordPress website. So that sort of started me on my journey to kind of learn stuff from the inside out. I mean, programming was something that I maybe, got into a little bit later in life, but it sort of, catapulted me into a completely different area. I love tinkering with various technologies and stuff. Not just WordPress, but also various backend technologies, APIs, stuff like that. AI in particular, it's something that's really, I think, it's part of my daily workflow, and it's something I'm deeply invested in. So.
On a side note, I met Max shoving enterprise technology, Laravel blade templating, mix, etc., into WordPress themes to make truly enterprise versions of WordPress rendering. So that's how we met.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No.
All right. Hold on. Got to go to Marcos. This is
Okay.
what happens when we put too many nerds in the room. All right, Marcos.
How's it going?
Our youngest, and I'm going to say one of our fastest.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Marcos. I've been coding for like 6 years now. Funny enough, I actually met Chris through Braden at this school event. And Chris has been really helpful to me. I've learned a lot from him. And I've been able to grow a lot with coding and developing. And that's been super awesome.
I love it. I love it. This guy, you can wish it into existence, and boom, he builds it.
He is so fast. So fast.
One of the fastest devs I've ever met. All right, you guys. So let's talk AI. Our audience, as a reminder, primarily home service trades companies that are trying to get in front of more consumers. So I'll start off with this topic conversation, which is our company's decision to exit WordPress as a full website builder and move to Webflow after testing multiple low-code environments. From your guys' standpoint, WordPress, if a company is trying to improve their visibility on an AI search engine and make use of their investment to get the highest rate of return from it, why did we make the decision? And what have you guys noticed are the biggest benefits of getting out of it? What are the struggles with WordPress out of the gate? Because it's like 90% of the entire industry is operating inside of a WordPress website right now, if they have a website. Chris, I'll start with you quickly.
Oh man, I should be the last one because I would go on.
Okay, well, pause, Braden.
Yeah. Start with somebody else.
I think a lot of the things about WordPress is that it's really not meant to house your site. We took WordPress and we started using it as a whole, as a collective, in a way that it was not meant to be used. And I'm sure Chris will talk about this more, but and how we use it effectively. But to house your website, it's like starting with an empty box. It's horrible, and I think that
I'll take that. Empty box is horrible.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Max, add to it.
Well, I think it's, the way that, just to sort of like maybe take one of our current websites as an example, for example, our configuration with Elementor is, I find to be extremely brittle. Ways to just constantly just cause errors or issues that seem to compound as time goes on. There's never really a permanent solution to it. It's just, let's just fix it when it breaks again. But it's not really a sustainable long-term strategy.
So for those that need some help with this, so number one, WordPress was not designed to be a full website building platform. It was designed to be a content publishing system, a database that allowed you to store content, be able to publish content. What happened after that was all of these devs, because it was open source, decided I need a gadget so that I can make a hero section. I need another plugin that I can make SEO. I need another plugin so I can make it load fast. I can need another plugin so I can make a container. I need another plugin for a contact us form. So what happened was all of these developers from around the world started contributing to this huge code library, building all of these plugins, which sort of like utilizing a CRM system where you only use 10% of the entire functionality. It became bloatware, spaghetti code, an enormous, very, very heavy website. Dave, what's your thoughts on AI search? And does AI prefer efficiency over non-efficient?
So let me tell you this. We have, I believe, close to 15 people in our team at the moment. And half of the code that is being written at OnePath is currently being written by AI, at least half of that. And more often than not, we are using AI agents right now. And because thanks to the new cursor or anti-gravity or others, you can actually throw a bunch of AI agents to the same problem, working on the different aspects of the same problem, or they can work in harmony under an orchestration layer, which makes things easier, So from the efficiency standpoint, it makes things a lot faster. And also it is democratizing the entry-level development, shall I say. So you don't need to know too much of a code to build yourself a custom-made landing page. And you won't even need like Webflow or something. You can go to Lovable and then just wipe code the entire thing, like in a few strokes. Now, that being said, obviously the incumbent players of the web application development or website development, such as WordPress, were not conceived for this in the first place. Chris will remember this. WordPress was an open source blogging platform because Matt decided to make it so. Matt being Matt Mullenweg of open source community, who is the co-founder of WordPress.
To replace movable type.
Yes. So the whole idea here was, let's give these guys a PHP based, which is like server-side scripting, very easy alternative, so that we can allow them to blog on a daily basis and whatnot without having to type every piece of HTML. And from that point onwards, the main complication or shortcoming of WordPress was the database architecture stayed the very same. What does that mean for you? That means the database architecture which people used in 2004 to build and publish their blog is 95% the same database architecture that you are using today for hosting your corporate websites, right? Which means it had to be flexible, and it is only flexible up to a certain point. And that brought over the dynamic scripting and the changing of the website elements when people are interacting with the website. Here's why. Because the web, believe it or not, guys, or the audience of this podcast, was first invented for humans and not AI. So, so it was for humans to view web pages, humans to interact with web pages, and obviously humans to interact with and accomplish tasks like reading stuff, doing stuff on the web pages themselves. From 2004 onwards, in 21 years, WordPress has evolved from a simple blog engine to a full-fledged website publishing platform, a full platform on the cloud to host those websites and all that stuff with the same very architecture that they had conceived pretty much in 2004. That had given super big limitations to people who are developing for the modern web. And here we are. This is why platforms like Webflow or Framer or others came into the picture, because they were easy, drag and drop, and they were way more fast. They were able to generate way faster, websites, honestly, that can load to browser faster, so people can start interacting with them faster and so on. So let me stop there. But it is pretty much it was pretty much the story. And now with AI search, you don't have a chance. You have to have a statically, generated website that should be easily consumable by LLMs, or you have to have an MCP server running on your website, none of which exist in general today. So,
yeah, Dave really hit the nail on the head with WordPress. The hooks, actions, and filters made it very low bar for junior developers to springboard into. Now the challenge with that flexibility mixed with an unopinionated framework for implementation created a lot of potential conflicts in the order by which hooks are loaded, etc. With so many different developers developing in an interoperable playground, you typically had a lot of plugin conflicts, or you would have another challenge is deprecation. So you'd have a plugin like Elementor deprecating. Max touched on this a little bit. The page builders don't exactly build super highly efficient HTML. And so you have a lot of these complexities working with you. And as David said about the database structure, that structure hasn't changed much since its inception. So everything's been relying on this metadata structure of being able to create kind of pseudo tables, if you will, or as they were custom post types. So there's not a lot of efficiency at scale unless you architect your infrastructure around that with, Memcache, PHP, APC object caching, or other types of object caching, Redis object caching. So you really have to optimize. If you're going to do high scale environments, WordPress can definitely be a challenge. And also the size of it, since its inception to now used to take 16 gigabytes and maybe 24, maybe 32 gigabytes of RAM, and now is almost taking 512 gigs of RAM just to be able to host it successfully. So the resource usage is going up quite a bit in contrast to the extended plugins. And you can see this if you look for WordPress weight over time. And you look into actions. The other part of it is security. With PHP, you're running a living executable that is executing PHP, which is hypertext rendering of it on the server side. That means every time a page is requested, it's loading the same database query. Yeah, you can cache them, and it is running an actual executable program, which in all of software, the executable programs can be exploited. And so as people create plugins and you are in the wild west, there are literally exploits every day for WordPress and its plugins. So that has been one of our biggest challenges, and anybody that's been with WordPress long enough has gotten hit by either the black hole virus or experience their PHP files being encoded. So it's something that it's not a matter of if, but when you get hit with something security related.
All right.
That's WordPress, but it's been replaced by static site generation and other things that are appealing a lot more to search engines, is the short of it. So, not to totally down on WordPress, it's amazing for what it can be used for and
what it's supposed to be used for.
Yeah, and also, as Dave mentioned, it turned into more of a publishing platform, which is how we continue to use it. WordPress has become more API driven. It's API by default now. And so that's given us the capabilities to integrate it into our content aggregation pipelines through third-party services, allowing us to effectively use it as middleware to enhance and augment third-party services as part of our publishing tactics.
All right. This is where Miss Stephanie Allen, I know she's listening and she's having a heart attack right now because she is wondering why I am not translating. Stephanie is freaking out right now. Sorry, Steph. I knew this was going to be a tough one. So, all right. Translation is, we have security issues. Number one, deprecation, meaning that the longer you own WordPress, the worse it gets. Like it dies over time. It's like a Ford. Sorry for the Ford.
Other than deprecate.
So it dies over time, which if you're going to invest in something, preferably, it's the difference in driving a traditional car or driving a Tesla, right? If I invest in a Tesla every night, I go plug it in, it gets smarter over time. Okay. I plug it in tomorrow, it can do something new. Like I can go into Tron mode now. So you kind of want the same process, right? And in addition to that, it's just slow and inefficient. Again, a Ford. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to lose all our Ford fans.
You just did, just so you know.
I'm sorry. This is gas car versus electric car. Now I just lost all the gas car fans. Okay. So same thing, efficiency, speed, and we want this baby to last. But AI is not patient, right? When you go to AI, go to ChatGPT, do a search, find me a heating and air conditioning company in Calabasas, California that specializes in heat pumps, sells Daikin equipment, and blah, blah, blah. Whatever that sequence is, ask for it and watch how quickly it evaluates every single website. You have a matter of seconds to be able to win. So you've got to have the technology's got to be the fastest, most efficient frame and technology that is available in your market to be able to win. And you need to have content. So let's talk content and what that means, but we're going to go very quick. So we've heard this term called content is king. And we've had conversations internally that this is more context, understanding consumer intent, understanding what consumers' queries are, understanding their prompts and so forth. And this gets a little tricky. There's a lot of marketing companies that are really holding on to SEO is SEO is SEO. It's still the same thing. Nothing's changed. Continue to do your same strategy. There's nothing changed. AI doesn't have any impact on your marketing strategy. I'm just going to say bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Sorry for the language. Consumers don't use AI the same way they use Google.
No.
The prompt isn't the same thing. The query isn't the same thing. They don't go to AI search and say AC repair near me. That's not how they search. So effectively, because consumers' habits, i.e. the adoption of utilizing AI search engines to find companies just like all y'all that are listening in, that has changed, right? You now have consumers that are eating at a new restaurant. They're dining, they're finding, they're searching somewhere else than just Google. And the way they're using it is changing, which ultimately means that we need to alter our strategy as marketing agencies. You need to market differently based on how consumers are utilizing AI search. So let's talk AI search, content, and context for a moment, because the majority, again, we've got the majority, probably 95% of all websites are living in an inefficient technology platform. On top of that, have content that was designed for an old school consumer that utilizes Google differently. And that probably wasn't even great content itself. So when you talk content at scale, what does that mean? And how can they continue to evolve content so that we are addressing all of the prompts and queries and information that consumers are now getting from their new comfort advisor, their new plumber, their new doctor, their new attorney, which happens to be either ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or Grok or whatever it is. Just side note, if you don't, and I'll throw this out there because this is a two-way street. This is one, content to get in front of consumers. But two, if you don't think that the consumer is taking your quote and throwing it into ChatGPT when you leave their house, we have another problem. and they're not the best prompters. They don't have all the details. So it doesn't mean they're going to get the best answers back. But Dave, I'll start with you. Content.
So, as we have discussed numerous times in this podcast, websites should be positioned not as a branding material, but as a content distribution center for your company. And the reason I'm advocating for that is, well, number one, nobody really cares how your website really looks at 2 a.m. in the morning if they are in water up to their ankles, guys. Honestly, they care about, hey, can you send someone to me and how quickly I can make that happen. Most of the websites that I have seen, I should say maybe 99% of the websites that I have seen is not optimized for it. It's optimized for so-called branding, which is okay, but at the same time, well, super high branding websites not functioning very well, right? So they go to the next contractor. So you end up with a very high branding website which is not working for you. So content here is the key in both Google world and AI world, so that both of those engines can actually locate what you are doing or what you are capable of doing and actually match that with a user intent. Okay. And I'm going to throw at this point of the podcast, I'm going to throw a very radical idea. Not a very radical idea, but let me just change the narrative a little bit. I think we are maybe 12 months away from shape-shifting websites based on the agent or user intent. Because if you think about it, your website is built to be everything for everybody. If you're an HVAC and plumbing and electrical company, you have content for all of that, and your main web page is actually lists them all and all that stuff. Even though the user is coming from a Google search query, I need AC repair, or an AI agent comes from the same thing. Find me a plumber in like Lakeway, Texas. The same thing. What happens? Your website is capable of shape shifting its content based on the user intent at scale in real time. Okay, yeah. So I think we are only like 12 months from that. I'm already seeing some startups working on that on the Silicon Valley Y Combinator ecosystem, because the web should not be and stay like a chunk of text. At the same time, it has to be available in real time. The current web that we know, the current web that's built on WordPress, is not built for this purpose. It cannot fulfill this purpose with this current architecture of things. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. And then let me pass the baton to who? Chris?
Yeah. I on a side note, Parker is actually, I've saw in our production pipeline, they're working on building AI overviews that will modify the text within the page based on the consumer's query. Yeah. We're already working on that.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, the more we step into client-side rendering kind of as a whole, and Google starts accepting not just the indexing, but the rendering of the page, we can produce these much more dynamic workflows that will actually speak to things we know about the HTTP request and the user, and it actually can start to understand the user and then modify the pages as well. So a lot of that is being able to be delivered via JavaScript in the front end of the experience. And as Dave was saying, that the real-time information, that WordPress is as a whole not intended to be a system to deliver that real-time information, but the systems and agents surrounding it and integrating it would currently we use, for example, like JSON LD to represent the schema of pages, and the schema of those pages are aggregated out into other systems, whether it be Google Maps. You can see the different enhanced map page if you're looking for hotels, or an enhanced SERP page if you're looking for products, if you're looking for flights, if you're looking, and that information is now being able to be aggregate out of the system. So as we create these client-side renderings that can speak to a Google bot specifically, or these other things that we will be updating this JSON LD format to be in robots.txt to other formats to make it more aggregatable, more real-time, of like an LLM.txt or a tuned format of representation of schema. Schema probably won't change as far as the metadata and everything that it represents, but it will be more understandable in these newer formats that are going to be coming out, targeting language models, so that language models can have their own experiences and users can have their own experiences.
All right, time for translation real quick. I can literally see, I feel like you're driving 80 miles down the highway and you throw it into reverse trying to communicate where people are going to understand. So think about this. Schema is a UPC barcode. Held within a UPC barcode is a bunch of data about a particular product. So if I have a UPC barcode on my iPhone and they scan that UPC, i.e. schema, tells it all the information. This is an iPhone 16X Max. It has this much memory. It has this color. It has this. That's all. When he says metadata, that's what that means. In context, the content that you have to have available, either in trained data or sitting in a database or on your website, has to expand further than traditional search, AC repair in blank, AI search, find me an AC repair company in blank, to include that has a warranty and the warranty information, that has these particular products and that product information, that has pricing information, that has maintenance information, that has financing information, that has scheduling information, that has delivery information, that has booking information. Those are all the other layers of content and information that has to become present the further that consumers start to utilize AI, whether it's for their initial search, their research, or you issued a proposal to them and now they're actually loading the proposal directly into AI and trying to get all the details to make a decision.
Actually, if you go to schema.org/HVAC business, even HVAC business has a detailed specification of what that data and those parameters are to look like to provide aggregate systems the most information, all the way from open hours to, and it actually inherits a hierarchical taxonomy of other objects and their meta fields.
All right, we're switching gears. We're going to switch to MCP. So I think sorry to bash WordPress, but this is a major issue. I think that I've been very clear with companies saying that we have a recipe to succeed, and any alterations you make to that recipe, you get a different meal. And one of those recipes is we've got to have proper technology. The second recipe is we have to have content, contextual content based on search. Now let's talk about well, we're going to just stick to MCP. So first, Dave, can you explain MCP?
MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, which basically is a way for large language models to understand how they can interact with the outside world. Let's say you have a car dealership and, hypothetically speaking, OpenAI ChatGPT comes to your visit in person tomorrow. So the gates, like the facade of the building is an MCP server in this analogy, telling ChatGPT, hey, you can buy cars here, Also, you can schedule for test drives too. And if you're really up to it, you can also talk to the sales guy, but I wouldn't recommend that. Okay. So that sort of thing. And as they are interacting with the outside, like digital world, like websites, APIs, applications, and all that stuff, they are gaining the ability to accomplish more tasks and in a deeper meaning. that's essentially what MCP stands for.
Okay. So in our world, we developed our platform called Cortex, which is essentially our brain. This is based on a hub and spoke model. So our MCP, imagine this, in the very center, there is our entire database, our world, and MCP, which gives us LLM functionality to be able to access, like Dave said, the outside world. Hub and spoke, our central system allows us to be able to connect with Google Analytics, Google Search Console, a website, OnePath AI, what converts. It could be Service Titan. It could be your email account. It could be your Fathom account. It can be your Slack account. So imagine a world, Webflow, right? Everything. So what Cortex essentially is, imagine if you're a gamer, you guys have played in God mode before, right? So gives you the ability to be able
She loves this analogy, doesn't she?
I do, because I have power. Now it's like a She-Ra commercial. So as we move into 2026, you'll hear us talking more and more about MCP because the power that comes with this. Imagine being the business owner, and in your world, in my world, I have the ability in 2 seconds to be able to say, tell me every single website that's traffic has went up by over 100%, but conversions have not increased by the same or by 20% or more. Tell me every single website that has lost pages indexing on Google. Tell me every single website that is delayed in production. So same thing, now translate that to a contractor's environment. Imagine being able in 2 seconds to be able to go to your own AI, your own LLM. And because it is set up with an MCP as a hub and spoke model, you have the ability to say, tell me every single appointment where our team arrived late. Tell me every single call where we promised to call back and we didn't call back. Tell me every single missed call, every single bookable call. Tell me every single form that was filled out that didn't get a response. Tell me, you could ask questions about your books, finances, cash flow, balance sheets, literally any system that you have the ability to connect to. Imagine being able to connect in milliseconds to be able to evaluate that. So, Chris,
top 3 technicians with the highest reviews.
Yes, absolutely.
Give me the emergency availability for the company if you are available right now, 2 a.m. in the Monday morning. You know, so.
Braden, I saw you unmute.
Oh, I was just going to say that you can use MCP resources to build SOPs, so that way your LLM can follow a set of instructions while using its predictive abilities to make decisions that are different than the SOP, just like a human when it's needed.
And Braden has built an MCP marketplace for us internally where we can OAuth and authorize other third-party services to automatically connect, so it works as a token store. But he's also built this concept of MCP stacks, which are stacks of certain technologies used by certain roles in the company.
Do you like that, Dave?
Yeah, of course. I'm looking. Since the first time that you told me about it, I'm looking forward to seeing it. You know, so let's schedule some time. But then again, I mean, if for our audience, if we want to, you know, kind of like back translate all that. So here's what's happening, guys. Think every single one of our audience, our viewers, and whoever is going to be watching this show later on. Think about your website. It starts with something like 4 letters that is the same with every website. HTTP. It stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's the foundation of the modern web as we know it. And then like colon, and then 2 forward slashes, and then www.abcplumbing.com, whatever your website is, okay? So this is a protocol that basically tells the web browser, which is Chrome, how it should be reading your website, literally, what it is made of, how you can interact with it, and so on. And it's a pretty standard protocol, been in place for 30-ish years, first invented by Tim Berners-Lee in 1991, and so on. I'm not going to go to history, but MCP is the AI version or AI era version of the hypertext protocol that you have been using for 30 plus years. It basically tells the AI agent, which is the browser of AI era, what it can do with your website, your application, your API, your whatever that is, okay? And as Braden pointed out, you can actually not just throw a bunch of text to it, but also you can tell AI agent what sort of capabilities it has with your website or application or whatsoever, and that makes it much smarter. Why does it matter? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Why does it matter? Number one, there is 0 contractors right now who is actively using MCP servers in the United States to make their services available. 2, almost all of the AI agents in 3 to 4 months are going to be demanding for them, because it's going to be the standard way of interaction with your company and AI agent. Whether it's Alexa Plus, whether it's ChatGPT, whatever you want to call it, you have to have it. You will have to have it. Okay? And if you don't have it, AI agent will go to your competitor who has it 2 a.m. in the morning, and then even without calling you, texting you, chatting you, clicking your site, nothing, they go back to the homeowner. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. It's Alexa Plus, and they say, "Hey, I found you a contractor who can come in 30 minutes. Would you like me to book your appointment?" Boom, and you're out of business.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah. No, this is 100%. You guys, we're not talking about 3 years. We're not talking about 5. We're not talking about 7. We're talking about next year. This is this Christmas. This is yesterday.
Yeah.
One of the highest purchases was Amazon Alexa Plus, which is fully enabled with an AI agent. Every Alexa device, it's already in everybody's home. It's going to come out on every phone. The amount of things, and I hate for anybody to feel overwhelmed, because there's a lot of shit that needs to get done. Like right now, from a marketing standpoint, from a content standpoint, from a conversion standpoint, from a sales process, from a sales training, you have an entirely new consumer. And I know you're feeling this. I've got Billy on here from Integrity. Talk to your customers and ask them. Actually, Darren Dixon is the best example. Darren Dixon's son, Tyler, got into heating and air conditioning. Tyler doesn't have to know anything about heating and air conditioning, but he has the Fixify Perfect Match system, fully enabled with AI. He has access to AI chat. And if he has no history inside of an HVAC company, but goes into a home, is able to produce a quote in a matter of seconds, leverage AI to be able to build the quote and to be able to identify what the cost savings is for installing the highest efficiency system and what the total cost of ownership is, then sit down with the company or the customer and use AI to be able to validate the proposal and prompt out, why should we do this? Does this make sense? Is there a better option? And so forth. You're saving yourself from having the customer take that quote and then go back. Tyler's the top salesperson in his company and has been from the 3rd month. Darren will correct me. 3rd month that he has. Youngest HVAC comfort advisor there is at his company, and is outperforming everyone else. Darren, please tell me if I know he's going to get me if I'm pretty sure in the first 3 months he was the top salesperson and has continued to be since then. This is going to require changing a lot of processes, a lot of your team's mindsets from an administrative standpoint, leadership standpoint, operational standpoint, sales standpoint, follow-up standpoint. The quicker you have the technology in place and that your teams become fully AI enabled, the stronger you'll become. Also
fully price transparent too, as you pointed out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole podcast in itself.
I mean,
I really want to deep dive into that, because one of the things that we're writing provisional patent applications on currently is an enhanced omni-channel MCP protocol, OMCP : transfer protocol, that is basically a protocol of flattening universal translator for all clients, so that it doesn't require a genius to configure and install apps onto whatever platform that you have, to basically enable you to speak to your different service providers. I'm trying to seriously simplify and translate, but basically so that you can use a web interface to install MCP connectors that just tap, click, and authorize. And so hopefully our first version of it will be a HVAC version, I believe, Jen, coming out soon.
Yes. Marcos, I have not talked to you yet. Sorry. Question.
Yes.
So what would it take from a vibe coding standpoint? What would it take for anyone in here to be able to vibe code out what they want their design to look like for their website, to be able to get a website done faster?
I don't think it would be very difficult, as long as you tell the model exactly what you want and are very specific on your prompt, then you should be able to build anything you want.
A plumber, they can vibe code out a website now? At least a base design? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Takes a matter of seconds, you guys. This is a moment where any legacy technology, and I guess we can end on that. A lot of these guys are operating on legacy technology that was built pre-AI, similar to WordPress, a little bit of a bloatware. They're utilizing limited amount. How difficult is it going to be for all of the legacy technology, i.e. the field management systems, to attempt to integrate AI into their platform effectively and efficiently, compared to the speed in which a new company will have the ability to build a fully operational ERP system at scale, built with AI at its core? Dave?
There's a reason why Quicken, through acquisition, got with Intuit, right? Or vice versa. I'm not sure which way that ball bounced, but you look at FreshBooks and all the other booking software that was web-based when web-based was a thing. Bigger companies can't turn the Titanic, so they hope to acquire and adapt the best that they can to maintain their contracts.
At the same time, they are selling saddles. So I agree to what you just said, but at the same time, if you think about it, like my first ERP implementation project, I mean, guys, I'm pretty old. I've been in this for a long time. Okay, so my first ERP implementation was 2004. It was SAP. I was in Turkey, Istanbul. Well, there you go. Mm-hmm. It took 3 years for the company and $2.7 million just for the implementation. For God's sake, I have stumbled upon an ERP company which is functioning as a financial resource planner, and they are selling to CFOs. Do you know their implementation timeline? 48 hours. They just graduated from Y Combinator 3 months ago, and they are working with a few of Fortune 500 companies already on top of SAP. Guess what? They're going to replace SAP in a few years because they are going to be the ERP of the AI era. What I mean by that is this. The systems, the incumbent systems that you guys are looking at today, if you think they're going to stay there forever, that's wrong. That's wrong because of their business models, because of their operating principles, because of their foundational principles, because of their user interaction principles and all that stuff. They are not going to stay there for long. They are going to be replaced segment by segment by different players. And we are looking into the most incumbent players out there. I'm not saying they're going to disappear. Of course, they are going to be pushing back. But then again, there will be new players coming, because when there were mainframes and all that, IBM and all the others were the biggest companies in the world. When interface changed, it created companies like Apple, Microsoft, and others. When interface changed again, like iPod or smartphones and mobile phones, it created companies like Airbnb, Uber, and others. Every interface change, and we are inside a major one right now. Every interface change, which is how you interact with the computers and your outside world, creates or basically observes the genesis of a new generation of companies. That's where we are right now.
Yes.
And the ERP systems that you guys are using, you won't need them. You will need a bunch of AI agents working together, stacks, as Braden put it out, that are actually capable of accomplishing tasks together. And to Marcus's point, well, AI models are best when they work together. You can go to Nano Banana, tell it to copy one of your competitor's website, take that design, put it to Stitch, and then take that design from Stitch and put it to Gemini. Boom, you have a website, and you don't even have to don't know how to code. So this is where we are today, and then it's continually evolving. So.
Okay, so now that everybody has an enormous headache, I'm just kidding. So you guys, I think the biggest takeaway from this is there are none of us that are exempt from having to redesign who we are, how we function, our technology, our infrastructure. There is no industry that is not in a position right now that they need to make some really hard decisions, and they need to make them now, because they're, like Dave said, there is going to be a new generation of technology providers. There's going to be a new generation of marketing agencies. There's going to be a new generation of home service companies. And you're on one side of the fence or not. If I go back to 2008, Mitsubishi Diamond Dealer Conference, I was keynoting there. I asked an entire room full of contractors, who's focused on search engine? It was my first time in home services. Who's focused on search engine optimization? There was 250 contractors in the room, and 3 hands rose. 3 out of 250. When you look at why maybe you're a new business, or you've only been in business for 10 years, or you've tried SEO and you've stopped and started and stopped and started, or moved companies over and over again, and you've never been able to compete and win on Google search, just traditional Google search, it's because there were juggernauts, or the juggernauts of today started earlier. They didn't make gross negligent mistakes or errors over a long period of time. They had consistency and repetition, doing the right things in the right order at the right time. And they now own and occupy page 1 of Google. The same thing is going to happen when you look backwards at 2025. There are going to be those companies who redesigned their technology, their marketing, their conversion strategy, their go-to-market strategy, their sales process. They did it now, and they don't make any major mistakes that set them back to go, like Monopoly. You don't collect $200, just bypass, get out of jail free card, all that stuff's gone, right? As long as you're one of the first and you don't have any major gross errors, you're going to be the juggernauts of the next generation. You're going to be that new company that consumers and the new consumer, which is an AI agent, prefers to do business with. And that's really what this is about. All right, you guys. Any final parting words? Give me a 1 sentence. What would you recommend, Dave?
Number 1, a question. When do I get to meet these guys in person in a happy hour? Okay, let's make that happen. Now, number 2, well, as Jen pointed out, and as we are discussing from different angles and perspectives in every episode, change is coming. It's coming fast. The companies who are adapting to change as evolution dictates is going to be surviving in the next era of business. The same goes for software companies. Same goes for marketing agencies. Same goes for home services companies. Nobody's immune to this. And let's keep evolving and keep doing our part, I guess. Thank you.
Chris, 1 sentence that they're going to understand.
Stay as up to date as you can. Don't be left behind. Who moved my cheese?
Who moved my cheese? I love that. That's actually really perfect. Braden.
If you don't think that AI is giving you the correct response, then it's not the AI that's the problem. It's the inputs, which that comes from the user.
I love that. That's a very, very good point. Maximilian.
Okay, one sentence. Okay, let me see. So I guess, the one thing I guess maybe to add to, to Braden's comment and stuff, it's, really, I guess, if you have to think of AI as not just a vending machine or as a genie, but as an actual intellectual collaborator. And if you're able to do that, really sort of like frame your prompts in that manner to where you're actually having a conversation with something that can help you think through your problem, you'll get way better results. So
I love that. That's good feedback. Marcos.
I agree with what everyone was saying. The more information you have, the more information you gather, the better responses you're going to get from the AI models. And yeah.
Is there any company that should not be using it?
No, I think it applies to all companies, to be honest. Like, you can learn so much from it, and it can help you in all sectors.
I love it. You guys, with that, I think there's lots of good takeaways, lots of things you might have to go chat GPT. What the hell did they just say? Which I understand. In a nutshell, change is the name of the game. Lean in, go all in. You can't lose. So the only place that I would be nervous would be sitting on the fence. So thank you guys for showing up today. Thank all of you for participating. I know you all have to go back to coding. So we appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. All right. Talk to you soon.